Okay, so I thought that I would pop on and talk to you all about gallbladder stuff because there is a lot of activity on a number of comments that I have shared, of videos I've shared related to gallbladder health and hormone health. And you all are asking good questions, but also some of them are personal. And so really the best way to do that is to open up a live conversation. So if you have questions about hormone health, or gallbladder health, things going on there, drop your questions in the chat. This is my first time going live on TikTok, so I'm learning the system a little bit. So it would be super helpful if you all let me know you're here, drop a comment in, tell me where you're connecting from. I will share a little bit about myself. My name's Marissa if you're new to me, or if you have watched some of my videos but we haven't really interacted, I just want to say hi. I'm psyched you're here. I am a hormone and gut health expert. I help women reverse and reduce their symptoms with natural methods, which is my way of saying that I practice strategies in functional medicine, in holistic nutrition, and holistic healing. I do all kinds of stuff from what you might expect as far as running lab work and looking at lab work, all the way to things like actually hypnotherapy, because what's going on in your mind is a really important part of your health. So a few weeks ago, I did a video all about gallbladder health because a bunch of y'all were commenting on gallbladder removal and asking about how it related to some hormone dysregulation going on. So hi everyone who's joining. I would love if you dropped in the chat where you're connecting from. This is my first time doing a TikTok live, so it's helpful for me to learn the system and see how comments come in. If you have a question related to gallbladder or hormone health, feel free to drop it in the chat. Maybe I'm not seeing it, but I'm not seeing anybody drop anything in the chat. So maybe I'm missing where the chat is. So bear with me there. But like I said, just learning here. So I have a couple of key questions behind me that are related to those of you who have gallbladder issues, have had your gallbladder removed, know that you have gallstones, are considering gallbladder removal, or even have a family history of gallbladder stuff. These are really, really important questions that do not get asked, I find, in Western medicine. Like, I've had a number of clients who wound up in the ER because of pain that they were having near where their gallbladder is. They were told that their options were probably just to have their gallbladder removed, and they were smart enough and felt capable enough to reach out to me to get a second opinion. Now, really important here, because of what I do, I cannot diagnose disease. I also can't legally treat disease, nor can I prescribe for disease or cure disease. However, I am in the business of optimizing how your body functions, and that is really freaking important, and it is not the focus in Western medicine. So these are amazing questions to just have in your back pocket any kind of time you're dealing with any health issue. And the reason is, you'll see I've made it a little specific to gallbladder issues just because so many of y'all are here because you were drawn in for me talking about gallbladder issues or hormone issues. I talk a lot about the thyroid and PCOS and endometriosis and period issues and post-birth control syndrome and all that kind of stuff. But the gallbladder and hormones they're related, y'all. They're BFFs. And part of that has to do with what bile does in the body. So I'm really curious, who here knows what bile does in the body? That's a really important question. So many people don't know. And no shame if you don't know. This is a place where we can learn. Thank you to the first person who dropped a comment in. I really appreciate you. So somebody asked, I don't know what your name is, but thanks for the question, asked if I recommend supplements if you've had, I'm guessing that's gallbladder removed over 18 years ago and now having problems with cholesterol and liver function. Yeah, of course you're having those problems, by the way, because removing your gallbladder does not solve the reason why you needed to have the gallbladder removed. In other words, it doesn't get to the root cause. So see this first question. I don't know if you can see behind me, but ask what the root cause is. The root cause when it comes to gallbladder stuff is very rarely the gallbladder's issue. It's maybe a function that the gallbladder is not going well with, but if you're having things like gallstones, that is not created in the gallbladder. Gallstones are created due to too much cholesterol, too much bilirubin, and not enough bile salts. So the gallbladder doesn't create any of those things, for the record. The gallbladder just stores bile. It doesn't make bile. The liver makes bile. So this is really key in understanding and thinking about what kind of supports your body might need. So I do recommend that that people consider supplements if they have had their gallbladder removed. But by the way, I also really strongly recommend dietary changes and lifestyle changes, because supplements are exactly what they sound like. They are meant to augment what your diet and your habits and your lifestyle cannot do or aren't doing. I have a whole list of supplements, like I think it's 2 or 3 pages, and it's small font, of supplements that I highly recommend people consider if they've had gallbladder removal. It is in my gallbladder class. It's like an hour and 15-minute or hour and a half class that I did all about gallbladder health and what to do if you've had your gallbladder removed or you're considering removal, and kind of things that you can try first. So I recommend checking that out. And you can do that at, I don't know if it's going to censor me, but at bit.ly/gallbladder class, or at the link in my bio. So I recommend that you check that out. It's got all of my best tips in one place related to gallbladder health. Or scroll back. I have made 30 to 50 videos all about how to optimize your gallbladder function and things you might want to consider. So free info right here for you. Okay, question about, thanks for the next question. So, and feel free, y'all, as you're joining, if you have questions about gallbladder health or hormone health, would love to hear those questions, or see those questions. Like I said, I'm learning the TikTok live infrastructure. So this is my first time going live on here, and I would just love, if you all would engage with me. Yeah, you're so welcome for that info. Okay, next question. Does removing the gallbladder help with chronic pancreatitis? So again, I'm going to be answering this from a functional standpoint, not from a diagnostic standpoint like a doctor would. And I will tell you probably not. But one of the reasons pancreatitis occurs is due to a backup of oftentimes bile and the enzymes that the pancreas produces into the pancreas. So what you need to be thinking about is, why is that backup occurring? And usually it has to do with insufficient or unhealthy production of digestive juices, because anytime we have a sphincter, part of what triggers that, and sphincter is just a circle of muscle, part of what triggers that is often fluids or kind of juices within the body being at a certain level. And there is a right level, by the way. But the other thing is also thinking about if you have all the nutrients that your body needs to contract and release muscles, right? So it's really common that folks who have pancreatitis type issues do need to optimize their liver function, which that gallbladder class I mentioned earlier is a great place to start with that. It's at bit.ly/gallbladder class, or you can go to the link in my bio. Great place to start with dietary recommendations and supplement recommendations that would also be helpful for this pancreatitis case. At least I find in my practice. Again, you can ask your doctor. But oftentimes it doesn't help with pancreatitis because you haven't solved the root cause. And a lot of people will have something called sphincter of Oddi when they do remove their gallbladder, because that wasn't the cause of it. And sphincter of Oddi, there are 2 ways that it backs up. One is pancreatitis into the pancreas, and the other is into the liver. I just posted a video today about sphincter of Oddi, so the person who commented that, you may want to check that out. And you can see it's one that I posted today. Okay, I'm seeing more comments. Thank you again for comments, y'all. This is my first time going live on TikTok. I love engaging with you all. Please feel free to ask questions about gallbladder health or hormone health. I just thought I'd jump on because there's been a lot of activity on my videos, and I reply to every single comment, y'all, like thousands of comments. So just so you know, and it's just me. So I really do love supporting you all and try to do my best to get back to everyone. Okay, so somebody commented that they had their gallbladder removed. Yeah, thanks for the heart. I love that. And that you gained 40 pounds. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. And part of that has to do with what bile does. Okay, so bile, it has 2 really important functions among other functions, but 2 that we all need to be on the same page about. Hang on. I'm going to plug in. You're going to get a weird angle here. But 2 functions that bile has. Okay, so one is emulsifying fat. Okay, so emulsifying fat meaning, like, kind of think about it like whipping up, like if you've ever made a dressing where you've mixed vinegar and water. So it emulsifies the fat so that your body can absorb the fat soluble vitamins in fat and digest fat appropriately. Okay. So this is also one of the reasons somebody just asked if the keto diet would be a good idea if you had your gallbladder removed. No, absolutely not. And it has a lot to do with bile's function. So the genius of the gallbladder is, I think of it like a little purse. I don't know why, but that's where my brain goes. It's like a really teeny cute purse, okay? And what it does when you have healthy gallbladder function is it holds onto bile until you eat. And when you eat, it dumps the bile into your digestive system so that that fat can be emulsified and digested. If your gallbladders are moved, your liver is actually just going to be dripping bile into your small intestines, just consistently. So you don't have the concentration and the firepower of that bile coming in at the right time, that purse being emptied all together with all the bile that's ready to go, ideally, if you have healthy bile production. So keto diet would actually be, in my opinion, a terrible idea. So the second function, by the way, that bile has that's really important is this is something I learned many years ago when I was training in functional nutrition, and it has stuck with me. And the saying is that bile is the river upon which toxins leave the body. Now, let's break that down. And by the way, if you're just joining, hi, I'm Marissa Faye. So glad you're here. I am a gut and hormone expert for women. Today, we are talking all about gallbladder health and hormone health. I've got some key questions that you're going to want to consider if you have any of those types of issues going on. And feel free to drop a question below in the comments. I love chatting about your questions. So I'm answering a question right now about what bile does and whether or not the keto diet is a good match for it. So far we've talked about how bile helps to emulsify fat so your body can absorb the nutrients in fat, especially our fat-soluble vitamins, which are really important. And by the way, you can only get fat-soluble vitamins in the way that your body can digest and absorb them from animal products. So important, okay? The second function that bile has, like I was saying, is it's this river upon which toxins leave the body. What I want you to think of it as is like, it's kind of like a sticky, it helps toxins that are in your digestive system stick to your poop so that they come out with your poop. So bile is just so important. And by the way, it's very resource intensive for your body and your liver to make bile. So your body actually recycles it, which is part of the reason, by the way, that y'all get things like gallstones or sludgy bile. It's because the recycled bile is shitty quality, and you need to be doing things like cleaning up your gut. This is one of the reasons with a lot of my private clients, I take them through gut rebalancing protocols, parasite protocols, candida protocols, all of these kinds of things, because if that bile is low quality, for sure you're going to have gallbladder issues. Like I think it's almost guaranteed, you know? Okay, so awesome questions there. So I answered the one about the keto diet. So that was emphatically a no, sorry. You're so welcome. Thank you for saying thank you. What do I know about gastroparesis? Got COVID, and it seems I have it now. Yeah, so the thing to know about COVID and triggering things, y'all. So first of all, I'm going to try to say this without being censored. So you know the thing, do you understand what I'm doing here? The thing that you could elect to put into your body. So if you had that, you really need to consider how that's affected your body. Number one, because it has affected your body. It just has, because of the technology that's used there. So you really need to think about that. I have seen it affect people in a lot of ways related to their gut health and related to their hormone health, also related to their immune system health. So those are some things to think about if you were somebody who received that intervention, okay? Next thing to think about is, what is COVID doing? Now, really early on with COVID, I started digging into the research. I'm always digging into the research, but we saw a relationship between COVID and severity of COVID with a particular kind of bacteria called Prevotella. Prevotella is actually something that we often find in the mouth, and we're kind of okay with finding it there. We don't want a completely sterile microbiome, digestive tract, or body. We are meant to have commensurate or friendly amounts of bacteria, even yeast and certain organisms. They really help actually maintain the balance. So I really want you to get that, okay? But we did see a relationship between COVID and particular kinds of bacteria, and folks who had a higher amount of Prevotella in their system, especially folks who had it already in their gut, we did see all kinds of other health issues downstream happen, especially related to gut health. So anybody who's having gut health issues after having COVID or having it is a really great idea to be working on your gut health and working with me or someone like me to rebalance your gut, because that's going to be really critical. And I'm so sorry you're dealing with that. that sucks. Okay, Crystal, what kind of diet would be best for people with no gallbladder? Wonderful question. So I'll give you some high notes here, but just know that I go into great detail in my 90-minute masterclass that you can get at the link in my bio or at bit.ly/gallbladder class. And I have an accompanying 15 or 20 page guide that also documents all of this in detail. But high level things that you might want to consider if you've had your gallbladder removed related to your diet. And again, this is general and educational. You have to figure out what's right for your body. But we can always work one-on-one if you want to, or check out that class. But you definitely want to do a couple of things. Number one, remove gluten from your diet. Everyone here. If you have a gallbladder or hormone concern, that is one thing I am dogmatic about. I have probably a handful of things when it comes to nutrition and health that I am dogmatic about, that I will just not hear it if somebody says this is not a good thing. And part of it has to do with a lot of research I've done and a lot of what I've seen in clinical practice over the years and just personal experience. Gluten is so inflammatory, and anybody who has had their gallbladder removed, you need to be really mindful of systemic inflammation. And also gluten triggers the release of a protein called zonulin. Zonulin tells the junctions in your small intestines to relax, which allows things that are in your small intestines to travel outside of your gut where they are not safe to do so and provoke an immune and inflammatory response. So for that reason, in particular, that small intestine reason, that is why folks without a gallbladder, I recommend remove gluten, all gluten. 100%. Okay. Number two, you've got to get processed shitty oils out of your diet. The American Heart Association did us all a disservice many years ago when they tried to shift our diets to one that included seed oils, seed and vegetable oils, and telling us that those are heart healthy. Those are absolutely not heart healthy. And if you want to learn more about that, I love this book called The Big Fat Surprise. It's written by this amazing journalist who has really studied in depth about what went on media-wise with what was happening around fat, especially with Ansel Keys. So inflammatory fats are going to be your worst enemy if you've had your gallbladder removed. So that's going to be any fat made from, I usually tell folks, a flour, a seed, or a vegetable. Okay, so think safflower, sunflower, right? Which, by the way, so freaking hard these days to find food without sunflower oil in it. What the heck? Made from a flower, by the way, canola oil's made from a flower. It's called rapeseed. Yeah, that's a literal thing, by the way, rapeseed. So you're probably going to see that on packaging now because marketing companies have gotten wise to the fact that people want to avoid canola oil. And so they're starting to say rapeseed on it. So you're smarter than that now. So anything like that, you definitely want to remove those flours. Seed oils, so things like cottonseed, right? Even things like sesame seed, I'm just not a fan of. Grapeseed, also not a fan of for folks. And then things like vegetable oil, corn oil, soy oil, all of that has got to go. Super duper inflammatory. So those are really important. And then the third dietary shift that I would highly recommend you consider if you've had your gallbladder removed, in addition to going gluten-free and removing those shitty, trashy oils that are going to be vegetable, seed, and flour oils. They're going to have flour in the name. The third one is eat cooked vegetables. Please, in the name of all that is holy. Y'all, cooked vegetables are so much easier on your digestive system. It is so damn helpful if you help your body out by, think of it as pre-digesting some of those foods. So it's going to reduce some of the burden. And I think of it as it reduces some of the digestive fire that your body really needs to have to break down food and nutrients, which honestly, when you've had your gallbladder removed, your digestive system has taken a hit and you need to be making modifications then long-term that are really going to support better digestion. So those are a couple of things I would highly recommend. Those are things I do share in the masterclass all about gallbladder health at the link in my bio, along with a bunch of other tips and supplements that you might want to consider. Okay, next question. And feel free if you're joining us, I'd love to have you drop a question in the comments related to gallbladder health or hormone health. We are just talking about all kinds of fun stuff related to root cause. And these are important questions that you can write down and have in your back pocket anytime you're going through any kind of health issue. Frankly, they all relate. That's how important things like your liver is to multiple different systems in your body, your thyroid to multiple different systems, your digestion, all of that good stuff. Okay. After having gallbladder removed, every time I eat, I have to go to the restroom. Yeah, for sure. So that is a really, really common issue. And you're so welcome for the info on keto diet. I hope that's helpful. That's a really common issue. And so part of that has to do with your body does not have what it needs in order to break down and digest food appropriately. So when you've had your gallbladder removed, it is one of the times where I don't want to say everyone needs supplements because I have to be careful just legally what I say, but I will say the vast majority of people really benefit from mealtime supplements. So giving your body what it can't have in abundance at the time of your food. So without the gallbladder to release enough bile to emulsify fat and bind toxins to your poop, you need to be giving it what that bile would give your body. So one thing that can be really helpful for a lot of people to slow down that kind of urge to have bowel movements, in addition to cleaning up your diet, really, really important, the things I mentioned before, I think you were on when I talked about those. But if you weren't, drop in the comments and I'll repeat it, is things like bile salts. Bile salts are really lovely and can be very helpful for folks who are having that issue of going to the bathroom all the time. You also could try certain fibers. I would be careful though. I would go low and slow if you're going to do some fiber supplementation, and I would not do something shitty like Metamucil. I would get something that's like a real whole ingredient. You could try something like organic psyllium husk. I don't have great luck with that, for the record. I just don't find people respond as well to that kind of a thing. I really prefer food-based fibers. So those are some thoughts there. Okay, hang on. Best diet for people without a gallbladder. Yeah, so I commented a bit on that already, but it really starts with cleaning up your diet. So removing things like gluten. I saw somebody requested to go live with me. If you would drop in the comments what that request is all about, I would totally appreciate that. And then we can go from there. But removing some of those foods is really important. The other really important thing is you are going to need animal protein. You're going to need it, okay? I really advise a lot of folks who are having digestive issues after gallbladder removal, or even gallbladder issues with your gallbladder intact, some of the lower fat, leaner animal protein sources. I'm a big fan of lean red meat, lean grass-fed red meat, because you need cholesterol. Cholesterol is a precursor for bile salts, y'all. So, and your body is still producing them, just not in the abundance that it would. It's not getting the concentration that it would if you had your gallbladder. So that's something really important. So lean, high quality proteins are really helpful. Cooked veggies are really helpful. Lots of broths, y'all. Like treat your digestive system like you just want to like warm and nourish and comfort it. That's really important. And then some teas can be really, really lovely and helpful. Chamomile is one of the ones that I just love for so many things, but that could be really helpful. I do not take insurance. I do not. And trust me, you would not want me to, because I wouldn't be able to help you. Folks who take insurance are super duper limited. And just also my credentials don't allow me to. And it was an active choice, for the record, for me to choose to go the educational path where I would not take insurance. Because again, when you take insurance, you can only do things if insurance covers it, which is one of the reasons a lot of folks do not get help with their thyroid when they go to their doctor. Thank you for the heart. I really appreciate that. So your doctor is only going to run labs where they can diagnose something or treat something with a medication or a surgical procedure or something like that. So it's extremely limiting if you take insurance. And yeah, I wouldn't be able to help as many people heal and actually feel better if I did. A vitamin you should take if you have your gallbladder out. So there are a number of supplements that could be a good fit. I just recommend, so again, I've posted 30 to 50 videos on here all about gallbladder stuff, including different supplements. You can check those out for free, or you can get my gallbladder masterclass and the accompanying guide that has a whole chart of supplements that you might want to consider. At bit.ly/gallbladder class, or the link in my bio. The other thing that I did not go into great detail in the masterclass in is, so because we talked about how bile is really important for emulsifying fat and getting those fat soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K, those are things you're going to want to monitor. So you're going to want to monitor your body's absorption of those things. It's kind of hard to get labs for all of those, but you can definitely get vitamin D labs done. And I recommend a lot of folks just do that annually. And that's going to be really important for your immune system and your gut health for sure. So check and see. Soy is in almost everything. Yeah, so we were talking about the trashy oils that I recommend anybody with hormone or gallbladder or gut health issues remove. And soy oil is for sure on that list, and it is in everything. And the reason it's in everything are we have to look at the crops that are subsidized in Western countries, and they are things like soy and corn, which are just, when they're highly processed, just absolutely terrible for us. Okay, so Stacy, hi Stacy. So, and folks who are just joining us, feel free to drop a question in the comments related to gallbladder or hormone health. I'm Marissa Fay. I'm a hormone and gut health expert. I do functional medicine, functional nutrition, holistic nutrition. I help folks heal with natural methods, and I'm really glad you're here. I'm learning TikTok live, so thank you for bearing with me and trying to keep you all engaged, which is no easy feat, y'all. Okay, so Stacy said, I'm gluten-free, but occasionally eat sourdough. Could this trigger inflammation? Yeah. Yes. This whole sourdough movement, and I know a lot of people who feel really like good about including sourdough and say like, oh, it's totally okay. You know, for somebody who really has no known health issues and no symptoms, it might be okay for them to have sourdough on occasion. I wouldn't risk it. I really, really would not. I don't think it's worth it. The one exception to gluten might be, and this is the only one, if you travel somewhere like Europe, where they have strict laws enforced about how they treat things like wheat crops, you might be able to get away with a little bit there on occasion, you know, but not an everyday thing. I do not recommend most people venture into the sourdough world, which I know is a little controversial. I'm happy to answer more questions about that if you want to drop something in the comment, if that is not explicitly left. Okay, Michelle, and hi everybody joining. Feel free to drop a question related to gallbladder or hormone health in the comments. I also have questions behind me that are important to keep in mind if you have anything going on with your health related to gallbladder, hormone, liver, gut health issues. We are all about root cause here. Yep, okay. So I think I'm on this question. Will gallbladder removal help with overactive gallbladder? So Michelle, this is what I want to know about that is like I'm going to cuss y'all, and I hope that doesn't offend anyone, but if it does, then I'm not the person for you. What the fuck does that mean? Right? Like, I find that doctors tell people these different labels, and I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what actually does it mean? And I see that you're talking about the scan, so you are giving me some more information, but I just want to point that out for folks. Like, anytime a doctor gives you a label like that, like overactive gallbladder, be like, what does that mean and how do we know? Those are two important questions, okay? So a scan showed 87% ejection fraction rate. So overactive gallbladder, we have to think about, why is the gallbladder being overactive? You know, what is triggering the gallbladder? Why does the gallbladder think that it needs to like be on the job all the time, as opposed to just sensing when you are eating and releasing the bile at that appropriate sign? So that is a really important question that you would really want to be thinking about and kind of parcel out, I would say. But I would be looking towards what is going on in your gut. I would be looking towards parasites and bacterial imbalances. I would also be looking at things like nutrient imbalances and nutrients that have to do with muscle contraction and relaxation. Yep. Thank you for all the info. It's your first live video too. Yay! Well, welcome. I'm glad I'm not the only one. And thank you for sending hearts in the comments. So everyone who's joining, thank you for being here. I am Marissa Fay. I am doing my first TikTok live. Thanks so much for being here and bearing with me while I am learning and trying to also keep you all engaged. If you have a question related to gallbladder or hormone health, feel free to drop it in the comments, or gut health. I have been called the poop princess or the poop queen in different groups that I am in. Like, when I tell you all, I was in a 100-person marketing group when I first started my business. This is like 6 or 7 years ago. And they literally called me the poop princess and got me all kinds of poop things, like a poop pillow, a poop hat, poop squishies. Like, it was just an ongoing thing. So that's how much I know about poop, which, you know, you'd think doesn't come in handy, but really, really does. Okay, next question. Crystal. Hey, Crystal, what are some healthy oils then? Yeah, oh, great. That's a great question. So if flour, plant-based vegetable oils are out, so those are trashy oils that we want to remove because they are very pro-inflammatory. The oils that are in and the fats that are in are ones that come from fruit and animal sources. So fruit, olive, avocado, and coconut are all fruit. Yeah, which is something not everybody knows. So those are all options, fats from those foods. And then anything from animal, you know, a lot of people do really well with a grass-fed or organic ghee. Ghee is clarified butter. So even if you're somebody who has a little bit of dairy issue, that might still be okay with you. I am a big fan of just real fucking butter. Like, why did we get so far away from just real whole foods? These are really important for our health. And in particular, if you're somebody with a gallbladder or hormone issue, you actually need to be producing more cholesterol in your body. The vast majority of your cholesterol your body produces. But one thing that helps your body produce healthy amounts of cholesterol are healthy fats. So big fan of those. So good question there. Hope that helps. Missed the beginning. Should I be eating gluten-free? Yes, ma'am. Yes, Joan. Sorry if I'm gendering you. Yes, Joan. So if you are dealing with a gallbladder or frankly a hormone issue, I do highly recommend that you go gluten-free. It's not just a fad. It has a lot to do with how our country treats gluten-containing grains, including the use of glyphosate, which is a really, really harmful desiccant. It's a drying agent that's used, and the pesticides that we used and the way we've genetically modified a lot of those grains. They are incredibly inflammatory, and I just highly recommend that they get out. They get out of your diet. Yeah. Hi, everybody joining us. I'm Marissa Faye. So glad you're here. Feel free to drop a question related to hormone or gallbladder health in the comments. I'm just going through all the questions that I can today. It is my goal, y'all. Like I said, I've commented at this point maybe to 100,000 comments on my page. I do have a goal of replying to every single comment, and I think up until this time I have. So I will stay here and answer your questions for about as long as we need or until it's dinner time. So what oil is good for someone who has IBS and GERD? Okay, so first of all, IBS or irritable bowel syndrome, that is another one where we have to ask, what the fuck is that? So for the record, IBS, anytime you are diagnosed with a syndrome from your doctor, it means we don't know what you have, but we know this list of issues or symptoms travel together. So here you go. Here's a name for it so we can diagnose it and make money off of you. IBS is most often related to bacteria. It's something I have helped a number of clients do, is get rid of that bacteria. You can heal. I can't tell you can cure, but you can heal. You can reverse a lot of those symptoms associated with IBS, if not all of them. Same thing with GERD. So GERD, or, that's going to be acid reflux for common language for everyone. Oftentimes acid reflux is actually due to low stomach acid, not high stomach acid, which is really another way that we've been fucked over. So a big thing with GERD is supporting and nourishing your upper GI. And if you're using antacid medications, exploring some more natural options, that's going to be important. But you also need to think about what's causing the GERD. Stress levels are really important. Precursors to make enough stomach acid are important. Just sitting the fuck down when you eat and taking a breath is important, y'all. Seriously, not eating when you're stressed, really important. I can't tell you how many people I have worked with who had GERD or reflux issues, and I literally, the first thing I gave them in our first visit was sit down when you eat, take 3 breaths before you eat, and chew your food to mush, and 75% of their GERD was gone. It happens. That may not be you, but it can happen. So those are some things that you can start with. You can always work with me. I'm happy to support you, or someone like me, or, hang out here. I'm sure I'll give away more free shit here and more information that might be useful. Okay. Julie, and thanks everybody for joining. If you are hopping on, I'm Marissa Faye. I'm a functional nutritionist. I work in hormone and gut health. I help women reverse their symptoms and reduce their symptoms with natural methods. I'm really glad you're here. Feel free to drop a comment in the chat related to hormone or gallbladder or gut health. I'd be happy to answer it before I go to dinner. Okay, so Julie said you had your gallbladder out years ago, terrible bathroom stuff, always in there, diverticulitis, had rears. Yeah, okay, so that makes a lot of sense. So again, Julie and everybody else, if you've had your gallbladder removed or you're considering gallbladder removal or you have gallbladder issues, we need to think about what is the cause of that, okay? The cause of it is very rarely your actual gallbladder. And even if it's gallstones, it's like, what led to gallstones? Again, gallstones are made from cholesterol, bilirubin, and then 2 little bile salts typically. So like, what is actually going on is always the important question. Diverticulitis, by the way, I always want to look at somebody's diet and their microbiome, their gut microbiome. So what organisms are growing in their gut microbiome? Really important. Don't fall for some bullshit weight loss program with diverticulitis, by the way. That's going to lead you down a path that is ultimately not going to have you feeling better. But surgery can be avoided for a lot of people. You just have to be really smart and probably invest in yourself and support. Yep. You are welcome. So welcome. Thanks everybody for joining. I'm Marissa Faye. Feel free to drop a question related to gallbladder and hormone health or gut health. I have some important questions behind me, by the way, like truly, these are important questions for almost any health issue you might have going on for you to be thinking about. And I'm just answering your questions and I love interacting with you. So feel free to drop questions in the comments or let me know if this is helpful. I love to hear that. Okay. I am seeing somebody with a username Little Miss. Hi, Little Miss. You had emergency surgery to have your gallbladder removed. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that can happen. And again, this is where like sometimes for sure, like people are just at the point where that is what needs to happen. But this is why I really want to encourage you all to like get familiar with your body and get familiar with what's going on with your body. And no, most symptoms are not normal. Just because your doctor is like, that's normal, that is B frickin' S, okay? These things are not normal. If you're dealing with symptoms and you're being gaslit by your doctor, come talk to me. Maybe come talk to me anyways, but for real. And I'm actually thinking about, because there's been so much conversation related to gallbladder health, you know, I have that masterclass, which by the way is really inexpensive and super helpful about dietary approaches and supplements and lifestyle stuff, just top tips. But I'm thinking about doing a group program around gallbladder health just because so many of you are here and I want to be able to support you. And of course, I would love to work one-on-one with you. Okay, so Mary, you have no gallbladder and bathroom issues. Yeah, so I went over some of this when we first jumped on, but just to highlight a couple of things. So first of all, that gallbladder class is going to be super helpful. It's more in detail and in depth than anything I could give you here, but I have lots of free videos. Feel free to scroll back on all kinds of gallbladder tips related to this. But bit.ly/gallbladder class, I highly recommend that you start there. But yeah, with bathroom issues, it's going to be really important to make dietary shifts that reduce inflammation in your digestive tract and consider supplement supports that help your body to break down food in the ways that it's going to be missing with that gallbladder removed, which is it's not going to be having that concentration of bile that it needs. So you want to be thinking about replacing that. Sometimes also replacing enzymes too works for a lot of people. I'm seeing a lot of helps. I would love to help you. So again, you can start with that gallbladder class if you're dealing with gallbladder issues. If you have hormone stuff going on, you can also check out and get on the VIP list for my hormone class that I'm going to be opening up early bird registration for this week, actually. The class will technically be opening in October, but I'm hooking people up who sign up early with a really amazing price and access to a full thyroid panel upgrade and private session with me at a crazy discount. So you can go to bit.ly/helpwithhormones. Yep, to get on that VIP list. So bit.ly/helpwithhormones for the hormone class VIP list. You can also set up a one-on-one discovery call with me. We can chat about what the right fit is for you. You can go to bit.ly/ready4health. All those links are also in my bio. What is my opinion on Greek yogurt? I am so glad you asked that question. So hi, everybody who's joining us. I'm Marissa Fay. I am a functional nutritionist. I specialize in hormone and gut health. I help women reverse their symptoms with natural methods. We are talking all about gallbladder health, liver health, hormone health, gut health. Feel free to drop a question below. Also, it is my first TikTok live, so I appreciate all of your support, all of your hearts, all of your comments to encourage me because it is a strange new world and it is really hard sometimes to get on here. I am a one-woman show for the most part. So it makes my day to just know that I'm helping you all. So I really appreciate that engagement. What is my opinion on Greek yogurt and should you eat it daily or not at all? So here's my opinion on all dairy. You got to get the shitty dairy out of your life. So what is shitty dairy? Anything conventional, anything fortified, okay? Anything fortified with synthetic vitamin D, vitamin A, all the shit that they put in it. No. So ideally you want grass-fed. If you can find it, that can be hard to find in some places. So next would be organic, right? So that would be the next one. So if you can find an organic Greek yogurt, then it would just depend on your body and what's going on in your body. I will tell you, I used to not be able to eat dairy. I had a sensitivity to dairy, actually, and it would have me running to the bathroom. It's really common too. Dairy stops people up, so contributes to constipation, actually. And I was able to, over time, retrain my body, heal my gut, and allow myself to do that. Part of being able to properly digest dairy is you have to have healthy lining in your gut because it's actually the lining in your gut that produces the enzyme that helps break down dairy. So if dairy is a problem for you, try cutting it out for a couple of weeks, and then you could try introducing just a little bit of high quality kind of grass-fed organic. And when I say a little bit, if you're somebody who suspects you have trouble with dairy, I mean like start with a tablespoon for a week, and then the next week 2 tablespoons. And that's really like if you're just like, I love dairy and can't live without it. Some people don't give a shit about dairy and they're like, it's no big deal to remove it. That's fine too, but do not replace it with shitty oil, fake cheeses. That is my request to you, okay? Hope that's helpful. If it didn't answer it, drop in the comments and I'll circle back. Okay, next question, and hi y'all. We are chatting about gallbladder and hormone health and gut health and liver health. Feel free to drop a question below. I specialize in women's health, but I also do work with men. This is the secret. The men who I work with, the people who are men, are always referrals from my women. So a lot of times when I'm working with somebody around fertility, I have to work with their partner, no matter what gender they are. And a lot of times I get like daughters and they're like, my dad needs you, right? Or my boyfriend needs you, or my brother needs you. And that is the only time I will work with men is when my people need me. Okay. Cannot find a gluten-free bread that tastes good. Haven't been able to cut sandwiches out from lunches. Okay. So here's the thing. I'm a big fan of replacing, right? So if there are foods you love, the first step before you even go far down the rabbit hole of like transitioning your diet maybe much further is to replace with a healthier product. So when it comes to gluten-free breads, by the way, I've been gluten-free for 13 years. I want to tell you something. 13 years ago, there really were no options. So people who think there are no gluten-free options right now, I'm going to give you some tough love. There are. There really are. When it comes to bread, I really like Canyon Bakehouse in the freezer section. This is going to be somewhere like a Whole Foods or a Natural Grocers, but big asterisk. You have to read the ingredients because there's one bread that has canola oil in it. There's one that they make with olive oil. You want the olive oil kind. By the way, they have Canyon Bakehouse gluten-free bread at Costco. It has canola oil, which is on our shit list, right? We are not eating canola oil. That is pro-inflammatory and it is out of our diet, okay? So that's my first suggestion. The next suggestion, I like Little Northern Bakehouse. I will tell you, they do use a little bit of sunflower oil, but it is, when I have folks who are transitioning and we're just trying to get something better, not the best at first, that can be a good option on the way. There are also some rice-based breads. So I would just recommend go to a natural food store, go to something like that in your town, and go to the frozen or refrigerated section. Don't look for a gluten-free bread in the shelf area because it's not going to be there because it's not going to have the same preservatives that shitty bread has. Okay. So that's my first thought. Okay, so hi everyone. So glad that you are here. I'm Marissa Faye. I'm talking about gut and gallbladder and hormone health. I specialize in reversing and reducing symptoms with natural methods. Believe it or not, it actually works. A lot of times better than other shit. Okay, so I am just answering your questions. Feel free to drop a question below. This is my first TikTok live, so I appreciate all of your encouragement and engagement. I love answering your questions, so please don't be shy. I want to be helpful. Okay, so I'm seeing a little bit. I do have constipation issues on top of it. Yeah, I can work with you. Okay, so whoever's commenting, you can absolutely at the link in my bio, which is a fancy way of saying link in my, you can grab a spot in my gallbladder masterclass that's pre-recorded for you. You can grab a spot on the VIP list for my hormone course, or you can explore working one-on-one with me, and you can go to bit.ly, 4, ready for health. bit.ly/ready4health. And we can have a discovery chat. I'm seeing, I think it's Gala. Your liver enzymes are triple and you have no gallbladder. That doesn't surprise me, friend. So, circling back on gallbladder stuff, and frankly, anytime you have like an organ or a part of your body removed, by the way, this includes your appendix and your tonsils. Fun fact, those actually serve a purpose in your body. Not exactly quite as vital as your gallbladder, but still, there is a purpose for both of those things. And we just cut them out like nobody's business. And sometimes it does need to be cut out. I just want to caveat that. Sometimes it does, but not every time. We just love to cut things out in Western medicine. Not we, but Western medicine does. I don't do that shit. Yeah, I'm not surprised with the liver enzyme thing. So a lot of times when folks have any kind of gallbladder issue, we need to be looking at what's going on with their liver. And it's a lot of times related to, see how I have here is detox optimize. This is a really good question for you who asked this question, or anybody who has a liver enzyme issue. So your liver is one of the most critical parts of your body's detoxification system. I am not talking about skinny tummy tea or teas that make you shit your brains out, okay? Those are not real. Skip that. However, your body needs to be supported in detoxing well and easily. And you have to do that by reducing the toxic load in your food, in your environment, in your products in your home. This is all of what I'm teaching, by the way, in my hormone course that you can grab a VIP spot in to get early bird pricing. You also have to make sure you're exercising the 4 main pathways of your detox system. That's going to be skin via sweat, gut via poop, kidneys via urine, and lungs via like exhale, really like getting rest and exhaling. Okay. So those are going to be really, really important. I'm seeing some folks who want to avoid gallbladder removal. High five to y'all. I am with you. And I would say start with that gallbladder masterclass. That's going to be a really affordable way for you to get info in one place that's really usable. And if you have questions about any of that, anybody who signs up for the gallbladder class can book a free discovery call with me where we can chat one-on-one. So yeah. I'm seeing some folks invite me to come on live with them, and feel free to let me know in the comments what that's all about. It looks like spam, but y'all tell me. This is my first TikTok live. Is that a thing? Do people spam to try to come on live with you? Because I'm just telling everyone no, because I don't know them, and they look like people who live elsewhere and are not my clients and my people who I can help. Okay. So, hi everyone, I'm Marissa Fay. I'm a hormone and gut health expert. I help women reverse their symptoms with natural methods. We're talking about gallbladder and hormone health this evening and gut health. Feel free to drop a comment below. As I've mentioned a few times, and thank you if you've stuck with me this whole time. This is my first TikTok live, so I appreciate any encouragement, any hearts, any comments. It's really helpful for me, and it keeps me engaged and excited to be interacting with you all and helping. Okay, so I've had both gallbladder and thyroid removed, can't do dairy, and have to do almond milk. So I would really caution you with almond milk, everyone. And this is something that is really important. We all need to be a little bit more careful with nuts and seeds, okay? And the reason is, again, I want you to think about what their intention is. This is with everything. Like, what's the root cause? What's the intention? What does it mean? Nuts and seeds, think about them. We plant them in the ground, they absorb moisture. So anytime we eat a lot of nuts and seeds, then moisture is going to go where they are, into your gut. We want resources being pushed out from your gut, not absorbed into your gut, okay, in that way. So I would just be mindful of almond. Also, please, 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 with your non-dairy milks, check the ingredients. Synthetic vitamin D, synthetic calcium, trashy oils. A lot of times we see those vegetable and seed oils in there. I am a big fan. Thai Kitchen has a coconut milk that you can also get in a light form, which is just coconut milk watered down with water. You can only get it online, and it is fantastic. And the only ingredients are coconut milk and water, and it is creamy and delicious. It's better than any other nut milk or plant milk out there. If you want more info on that, comment somewhere and I'll share a link with you. But it's Thai Kitchen. Do you have any recommendations on a supplement I could take? Hey, Mary, I think you asked a question before and I have lost track of it, but I have lots of recommendations on supplements. If it's for gallbladder stuff, I would highly recommend again that you take that gallbladder class. It's super affordable. At bit.ly/gallbladder class, it comes with a guide that has 2 to 3 pages of small font, different supplements that can be helpful. It's going to be important for you to map to different symptoms that you have. And if you'd like some help customizing things, you can always reach out to work one-on-one with me. So thankful I found you so helpful. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here and saying that. I'm seeing lots of thank yous. I'm saying hi everyone. So glad you're here. So I'm Marissa Fay. We are talking about holistic gallbladder, gut, thyroid, hormone stuff. I practice functional nutrition and all kinds of other fun things like hypnosis and meditation and yoga. Really important that we work on stress from all angles with the body. Okay, so I'm answering your questions. Please feel free to drop a question in the comments. I love answering your questions. And this is my first TikTok live, so let me know how I'm doing. Stomach. Christy, you're saying that you've been having trouble with your stomach on the right side since 2017. So that's not your stomach then, girlfriend. And I understand the complication here. We are really not taught these things. That's not your stomach. Your stomach's on the left side, for the record. And it's probably higher than you think. So right side, gallbladder, liver, okay? And some intestines. So you really got to figure out what part is complaining. The way that I would do that with a client is sometimes I have people palpate or touch different parts of their body and let me know on a scale of 0 to 10 what it hurts. Also looking at lab work's really helpful for something like that. That's kind of like a long-standing pain. Also, you can go through transitioning your diet and your lifestyle. That's probably going to be very helpful. The 5-step method I teach in my hormone course that I am getting ready to send out early bird info on could be really helpful. So I have a 5-step method that has worked with over 100 clients in my private practice, and I am making it super affordable and accessible to everyone because I want to help you all. So you can go to bit.ly/help-with-hormones if you want to get on that VIP list, but that process could be really helpful. Otherwise, hang out here. Lots of free content here that you can keep using. Doctor did a lot of tests, but they all came back good. Yeah, I don't trust doctors when it comes to this stuff. This is me personally. I spend a lot of time looking at lab work for the record, and in particular, looking at blood work. When you look at blood work for what's optimal rather than what is diagnosable as a disease, it's a whole new world. So I would challenge you to have me or someone like me look at, if there's blood work, look at blood work, because I would bet it's not all good. Yeah, it's just not diagnosable for them. Hey y'all, I'm Marissa Fay. I am a hormone and gut health expert. I help women reverse their symptoms and reduce their symptoms with natural methods. Feel free to drop a question below. We are talking about gallbladder health, hormone health, gut health. I'm giving you the straight up truth about a lot of this stuff. And if you don't agree, that's okay. Go listen to someone else. I've spent a lot of years, by the way, both personally experiencing things, but I also am pretty experienced in my practice. There are a lot of people who are new to this field. I've been around the block. And that means I know my stuff. I also know what I don't know, and I will tell you. Okay, gallbladder gone, Beverly. It looks like a ruptured colon after 4 years and a removal of your sigmoid colon. Oh, I'm so sorry. You are a prime candidate to work one-on-one with me. I'm not even going to go into more detail because that's really complex, and I would be doing you a disservice to generally answer that. But I would tell you, work with me or someone like me. You need to get in there and understand organisms within your gut, stressors on your system, nutrient imbalances. That's going to be really important. And I'm sorry, that sucks. A follow up to the bread comment, y'all. So we talked about going gluten-free for hormone and gallbladder health. It is one of my standard recommendations. One of the only things I'm particularly dogmatic about, although now that we're here, I'm realizing, I have lots of opinions about things, but I will oftentimes tell people your body, your choice. With gluten-free for these types of issues, I think it's a bad choice if you don't do it. I'll tell you that. Okay, so we talked about gluten-free bread options. There aren't great options. Yeah, spent upwards of $6 a loaf, and they're all sawdust stale. Yeah, so I would not go into the aisle. I would go, again, freezer, refrigerated, number one, and you are going to spend $6 to $10. You are. The other option is make it homemade. Make it homemade. You can do that. Really easy, by the way, y'all, to make homemade things like biscuits or tortillas. Those are so easy. Oh, thanks. Somebody sent me a rose. I have no idea how you did that, but I appreciate it. This is my first TikTok live. And I just love getting your feedback and your questions, y'all. It really encourages me. So keep it coming. So yeah, that's the whole bread conversation. Wendy, pregnant all the time. Wendy, did I miss a first question or comment? I'm sorry if I did, but tell me more about being pregnant all the time or what your question is. Okay, can I cover TPO? Recently told the number of the TPO doesn't matter. Okay, I don't know if your name is Sky, but I might say that just because it's easy. But Sky Blue asked this question, TPO. So we're talking about thyroid antibodies. I literally posted a video earlier today where I'm very passionately talking about how the way that most doctors look at things like thyroid antibodies, like TPO or TGB, is trash, is garbage, is bullshit. They're liars. They're full of shit. They don't know what they're talking about. Literally, they don't know what they're talking about. That's why they tell you it's normal or it doesn't matter. Your antibodies matter, okay? They matter. When antibodies get elevated, then you are eligible with certain doctors who are more informed to be diagnosed with a thyroid autoimmune condition. The most common ones are Hashimoto thyroiditis and Graves' disease. Graves' disease is thyroid showing that it's kind of producing at too high of a level, and Hashimoto is producing at too low of a level, okay? Now, your antibodies are basically your body's way of saying, what's this thing? It seems foreign. We need to protect you from this, okay? That is bad. Anytime your body is going to be mounting a protection or a defense or something is looking kind of foreign to it, that is not good, okay? Whether it's your thyroid or any other part of your body, frankly. So we need to be doing things to get in there and reduce that response. And often it has to do with soothing, nourishing, calming the immune system, soothing, nourishing, calming inflammation pathways, soothing, nourishing, calming hormones. The 5-step method that I teach in my hormone course would be a great place for you to start, for the record. You can get on that early bird list, which I highly recommend because I also am offering a really great upgrade where you can add a full thyroid panel and a visit with me for less than what it costs to have a single visit with me if we were to work private one-on-one. So I'd highly recommend you grab a seat. You can get on the VIP list at bit.ly/help with hormones. You can also check the link in my bio. Taking notes. Yay! I love that you're taking notes. Please do. a lot of people may not feel moved to sign up to take one of my classes or work with me one-on-one, and that's okay. But please then make use of the free stuff I give. It's really hard for me when people comment and ask like, here's my specific, really complicated health issue. What should I do? I can't tell you. You have to help yourself if you're not going to kind of join one of the offerings I have to make things accessible to you where you can get direct access to me. Okay, is there a way to naturally get rid of gallstones? Why, yes, there is. Okay, so yes, we've talked about this before, but it's worth mentioning again. And anybody who's here for more hormone health stuff than gallbladder stuff, I just want you to know gallbladder health intimately related to hormones. So this also is important for you. I will tell you, I was diagnosed with a thyroid condition 13 years ago. Nobody ever told me my gallbladder should be a concern. A few years after that, I took myself through a gallbladder protocol and I passed gallstones and I also passed gallbladder gravel. And that's because low thyroid function often travels with gallbladder issues because of gallbladder's function, right? So it's holding bile. Bile helps to emulsify fat and bind toxins to your poop, among other things. So it has a really important role. And oftentimes low thyroid function or autoimmune thyroid stuff has to do with toxin exposure. So that makes a lot of sense. But yes, there is. I talk a bit about this in the masterclass all about gallbladder health. I talk a lot about gallbladder removal there, but all the recommendations also are very helpful for this. But the biggest thing when it comes to gallstones is you want to be thinking about what can thin the bile. So you want to thin the bile. That's kind of the key word. Things with choline in them are really important. You also might want to look into lecithin. May not be right for your body, may be right for your body, but I prefer sunflower lecithin to soy lecithin, but that can be very helpful. You can actually find on PubMed, if you like looking at research, you can find research on that and how that works. But I can't tell you, I'm not a doctor, I can't diagnose you, so I have to legally tell you, check with your doctor. Okay, currently on second day post-op of gallbladder surgery. When should I start introducing food? You need to ask your doctor. That is, you're kind of in that window. It's really important to be speaking with your doctor. But when you're further out from that and you're allowed to return to normal life, then working with me or signing up for that gallbladder class that's really accessible would be a great start. Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Marissa Fay. Thanks so much for being here. I am talking about gallbladder and hormone health. I am doing my best to answer as many questions as I can here. It is my first TikTok live, so I appreciate all the encouragement. Some people have sent me flowers. Love that. Hearts. If you have a comment or a question related to gallbladder or hormone health, I would love to give you my take. So feel free to drop a comment below. What about weight loss after having your gallbladder removed? I'm assuming that is losing weight is hard, and that makes sense because one of the things, especially in women, and I am assuming you're a woman, if I am misgendering you, I am sorry, please let me know. One of the things with female hormones, so often people are going to identify as women, but not always. So I'm making some assumptions there just for ease of communicating. But oftentimes keeping weight on is protective. Your body is saying like, it's not safe. We need this extra. So you have to create safety. And the ways we create safety are both mentally and emotionally and with enough rest and reducing stress. And the other ways that we create safety is in the way we nourish our body and reduce exposure to toxins. The 5-step method I teach in the hormone course is going to be really helpful for you. But that's kind of where to start is reduce toxins. If you haven't cleaned up your diet, this isn't about crazy calorie reduction. By the way, if you reduce your calories too much, you are going to pump out more stress hormones and you are going to reduce your thyroid function and you're going to reduce your progesterone release and you're going to cause issues. So I do not recommend that. It's oftentimes not the path forward. Thoughts on Garden of Life probiotics. I'm picky about probiotics, so we need to talk about this. And for anybody joining, I am Marissa Fay. I'm a hormone and gut health expert. I practice functional nutrition, functional medicine, holistic nutrition, holistic wellness, hypnosis, meditation. I do a lot of shit because it's all important. We got to address mind and body here. We are talking about gallbladder issues, liver issues, hormone issues, gut issues. Y'all let me know if I missed another issue that we've covered. Now we're going to talk about probiotics, which I love. Okay, so y'all, please fucking stop with the taking probiotics back to back to back, the same exact probiotic. You are causing problems. So I see this a lot in my one-to-one practice. I also typically do an annual gut healing group program. And last year's cohort, I saw this, I think, in almost everyone. But people have heard a lot about probiotics, and so they run to the store, and you may have done this, and no shade to you if you've done this. I did this 15 years ago, so I get it. It sounds really great and appealing. The problem is if you take the same probiotic over and over again, you're getting a very limited number of strains. And when it comes to bacterial balance in your gut, it's actually about having enough of the right kind of, we say, commensurate bacteria versus opportunistic bacteria. I want you to think about your gut like a garden, and you want flowers that can survive in every season. You don't want too much of any flower that can survive in just one season. So for example, if summer flowers are sunflowers and I'm making this shit up, irises, you don't want sunflowers and irises to take over the whole garden, because then your garden's not going to be able to survive fall and winter and spring. It's only going to survive summer, right? So that is shit. So please stop. You have to stop overdoing it on the probiotics. Number one. Number two, there are two kinds of probiotics: transient probiotics and spore-based. Transient probiotics are what they sound like. So think of transient probiotics as spraying a special kind of water on your garden. So it sprays onto the garden. It's not going to be absorbed well, but the garden is moisturized for that day. That is how a transient probiotic works. The vast majority of probiotics that you can find in the store are going to be transient. If it needs to be refrigerated, it's likely transient, for the record. Even if it's saying it's shelf stable, it's probably transient. So those are not necessarily helpful in the long run. They have their time and place. Sometimes I'll pull something like that in when I'm dealing with a client who has recurrent UTIs, or a pregnant client who we're trying to avoid strep B, something like that. But in general, a lot of folks are overdoing it with those kinds of probiotics. Two, spore-based probiotics. These are my preference. Oh, and I forgot, there's a third one. There are always more. We'll talk about it. Yeast-based probiotics. Spore-based are fantastic. Spores, I want you to think of like a seed. They plant into your garden, and your habits will either help them to grow or not grow. And when I say habits, I mean, are you eating a diet that's helpful, that's providing prebiotics, that's also providing probiotics? Are you hydrating well with less toxic water because your tap water is shit and your Brita's not doing anything? So all of those things are going to be important. Are you managing your stress levels to cultivate those spores, those little seeds and spore-based probiotics to sprout into healthy plants that can contribute to the health of that garden that is your gut, okay? So with Garden of Life, there's some that I'm okay with and some that I'm not okay with, and it depends on your issues. And again, don't overdo it. So don't take the same one all the time. Probiotics can make things worse. I have had a lot of clients where they have actually caused more of an imbalance and created more of an opportunity for opportunistic, meaning an abundance of the bacteria we don't want overgrowing to overgrow. If you want, leave me a comment somewhere. I can hook you up. I have clinical grade supplements that you can have access to if you'd like. And there are some fantastic probiotics there. I highly recommend considering some of those. The third category of probiotics that we can talk about today are yeast-based, specifically Saccharomyces boulardii. Has anybody heard of that? Let me know by sending a heart right now, or a flower, if you've heard of Saccharomyces boulardii. This is a yeast-based probiotic, so not helpful if you are somebody who is showing signs of a lot of yeast overgrowth. Very helpful. Oftentimes, if you're somebody who has been on antibiotics recently, it's one of the only strains of probiotics that is antibiotic resistant. So we love that. So I often use it for myself and with clients when they've had antibiotic use. It can be really lovely and really helpful for a lot of things. It also can cause imbalance like everything else. So this is why I do not recommend supplementing on your own without more information, without some guidance from someone, me or someone like me, because you can actually mess things up from over supplementing or supplementing with the wrong thing at the wrong time. Okay, hope that answered it, but feel free to ask a follow-up. So hi everyone, I am Marissa Faye. Thank you for joining this live. It is my first TikTok live. I appreciate your comments and your hearts and encouragement because it is hard sometimes coming here, showing my face. By the way, I came back from the mountains today. I live in beautiful Denver, Colorado. Came back from the mountains. I'm literally in my robe. I was going to jump in the shower because this hair needs to be washed and I have sunscreen everywhere, but instead I jumped on here because I just wanted to help. Okay, we are talking about gallbladder health, hormone health, gut health, liver health, probiotics, gluten-free bread. We're covering it all, so feel free to drop a question that relates to any of that. Okay, I'm seeing I've been having problems on my left side since your gallbladder removal. So we have to be thinking about, again, so I'm just going to say it again in case you weren't on. And again, these questions, everyone, please take a screenshot, write these down. This first question, ask what is the root cause? This is for you, my friend. So what is the root cause of why your gallbladder was removed in the first place? And did it have something to do with something on the left side? Also, pancreas is kind of central a little bit. So sometimes people will reverberate and get pain a little bit more on the left side of their pancreas. Your pancreas is pretty big. Look up a diagram, or maybe I'll do a video about it. Leave a comment if you want one. But could be something to do with pancreas, could be something to do with stomach, could be something to do with overall digestive health, organism imbalance, something like that. So some things to be curious about. And if you want to get to the bottom of that, this is probably one of those where you could start with that gallbladder class, that bit.ly/gallbladder class, which is a really affordable way to get a lot of information that you could apply, or set up a discovery call, because anytime you all have a pretty more advanced thing after surgical removal, you can try some of the strategies in one of those classes, but you may need some one-on-one support. You're so welcome. Thank you for saying thank you. I am seeing somebody who had their gallbladder removed 30 years ago and never knew any of this. I know. Y'all, so I just want to tell you, I exploded on TikTok approximately 3 or 4 weeks ago. I have been doing this work for many years. I have many loyal clients, and my biggest referral source and the way that my practice has grown is word of mouth. But I work with clients virtually all over the United States. I love it. I ended up working with people they refer their coworkers, their sisters, their moms, their best friend. It's fantastic. But I've been waiting to go viral. I really have. I've learned a lot. I'm ready for it. I'm ready to share the wealth of information I have. It's the right time for me as far as what I know and what I can offer you all. But I'm really thrilled you're here, and I have made it a really big effort to comment back on any comment I receive. And I'm bringing this up because the video that went viral that's had over 250,000 views is all about gallbladder removal and things that your doctor never told you. The first of which being that just because your gallbladder is removed doesn't mean you're not producing bile. It just means you're not collecting bile to release in one big amount for meals and around food. Bile is still being created by the liver. It's never been created by the gallbladder. Never. The gallbladder just holds it. I talked about it being a little purse earlier because that's what works in my brain. But the liver is the one producing the bile. And so gallbladder removal rarely helps something related to the quality of your bile. But sometimes people need it. I just want to say that too. No shame if you are really someone who needs it, or you went through it and now you're dealing with repercussions. But it is time that you take some action, probably. That's why you're here. And I'm sorry that you didn't know things. I see a naturopathic doctor and do supplements. Do you have a link for the Thai Kitchen coconut milk? Yeah. So I just want to say here too, everyone has a different approach in the functional health community. And I have had a number of clients come to me after working with a naturopathic doctor, a functional medicine doctor, and them really taking them down the wrong rabbit hole, or doing what we call greenwashing, which is basically treating them in the way Western medicine would, using supplements like they are prescription medication, and not working with folks to really, really change their life, to really change your lifestyle, to change your thoughts, to change your stress levels, yes, to change your diet, and yes, to change your nutrients and supplements. But that's something I just want you all to be aware of, that just because somebody has fancier credentials than another person does not mean they know more. So be mindful of that. That's not to crap on you who said that you see a naturopathic doctor. Maybe they're perfect and lovely, and I really hope they are and that they're supporting you, but just know that there's often more to the puzzle than sometimes people want to address or are addressing. For the Thai Kitchen coconut milk, I can't link it here. So if you go to another post and comment, or you can find me over on that other social media platform that begins with an I and send me a direct message. That actually is probably the best way, or send me an email. My email is info at marissafay, MARISAFAYE.com. Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Marissa Fay. We are talking about hormone and gallbladder and liver and gut health. Feel free to drop a question below. It is my first TikTok live. I'm having a blast with you all. Some of you have hung with me the last, 40 minutes. Thank you. I love that. Some people have shared they're taking notes. I love that too. But I also appreciate your encouragement, your hearts, your comments, your questions related to that. Please, please drop them here. Okay, so should I take a supplement because I had my gallbladder removed, always bloated and dissenting? So distension in your gut. You may need them. I have to be careful how I word this, just because I'm can't tell you have to take them, right? But I would say in the vast majority of cases, when somebody has had their gallbladder removed, they do benefit from supplementation to replace the function that the gallbladder had. So remember, gallbladder not making bile, but holding bile. And it's able then to dump a larger amount of bile when food is coming into the system. What does bile do? Bile helps to break down and emulsify fats so that you can absorb fat-soluble vitamins, vitamins A, D, E, and K. It also helps to bind toxins to your poop. Those are two of the most important roles. So you want to be thinking about supplements that you can take that support those two functions, likely something at mealtime. I talk all about the supplements I see work the most for the most people in my gallbladder masterclass. You can grab it. It is super affordable. It is, please, just do yourself a favor. It's at bit.ly/gallbladderclass, or you can check out the link in my bio. And honestly, y'all, I keep pushing you to the class because it's just all in one place. It's very helpful to get all of that information in one place and have a guide that you can download or print. And also, if that is not what you want to do, there's a ton of free shit here. Please go back and watch the 50 videos that I have about this. So more questions about gluten-free. So gluten-free can be homemade? Yes. Oh my God. Okay. Please, let's talk about gluten-free cooking. So first of all, and going gluten-free, just as a recap, in case somebody joined us later, we had talked about gluten-free being a really important recommendation for most people who have had their gallbladder removed or anybody dealing with a hormone imbalance or issue, especially my thyroid babes. Really important that we remove gluten. If you have any kind of gut dysregulation or issue, probably really important that you remove gluten too. We talked about this is one thing I'm incredibly dogmatic about, but I just see it being a better idea. You don't want to replace it with other shitty ingredients though, right? So we talked a lot about shitty fats and oils that come from vegetable, seed, and flour sources. We want to be getting our fats from fruit sources and animal sources. Really important, okay? But yes, you can make all kinds of stuff gluten-free. So just swap out your flour. So the easiest thing to do, honestly, buy organic, certified gluten-free oats. If you have a coffee grinder, you can grind and make your own oat flour. And I find oat flour actually to be the easiest to replace oftentimes white flour and stuff. It has the lightness that white flour has. Coconut flour is great, but it's heavy and dense. But that's another one I like. You want to be thinking about things that are safe to heat. So I don't like cooking with nut flours or seed flours. Not safe to heat. Not meant to be heated, okay? They are meant to be ideally, frankly, raw and used in minimal amounts. But yeah, absolutely. Gluten-free flours are amazing. I also really love cassava flour. Cassava is a root, and I find a lot of people can digest that pretty well. So some people have reactions even to organic certified gluten-free oats. If you're that person, cassava flour would be my first choice. So happy I found your page. I'm so happy you found my page too. So hi everybody, I'm Marissa Fay. I'm a hormone and gut health expert. I help women reverse their symptoms and reduce their symptoms with natural methods. We are talking all about the functional nutrition and holistic health take on gallbladder issues, hormone issues, gut issues. We haven't gotten to period issues. Anyone have a period question? I love talking about that. Period poop questions, thyroid questions, any of that stuff. Feel free to drop a comment below. I'm having a blast here. This is my first TikTok live, so I love any encouragement, comments or hearts or flowers, or if there's something else you can send that. I'm learning, so I love it. And I just really appreciate your engagement and your questions. Thank you so much. And I say thank you because this is my life's work. It really is. This is my purpose. And sharing with you all every day is part of that purpose. So happy I found your page. I'm so happy you found me. Have to book with you. Yeah, please don't be shy. You can set up a discovery call. I charge a fee for the discovery call. It's just $25 just because sometimes I have people no-show and that's really frustrating, but you either get that back if you cancel in enough time in advance, or you can apply it to any one of my programs or courses, or working one-on-one with me. And I do have folks, by the way, who book a discovery call with me like now and won't sign up for something until 6 months later. And I will apply that discovery call fee to that thing you buy later. So it's really reasonable and you'll get my personal attention, and I would love to give you that and answer whatever questions I can. So feel free to book a discovery call. You can do that at bit.ly/ready4 health, or you can check out the link in my bio. There's a direct link there. Okay. Loving your questions. Feel free to drop a question below related to hormone, gallbladder, gut health, period stuff, poop stuff, gluten-free stuff, thyroid stuff. I'm here for it. Okay, I literally just had extensive blood work done on Friday to figure out hormones, and your gallbladder removed in 2018. That's awesome. So I would be curious about who's interpreting that. And what hormones are being looked at, because blood work is not a great way to look at every hormone. Fun fact. It is a good way to look at thyroid hormone, for example. It is a good way to look at insulin and glucose, things related to blood sugar regulation. Not a great way to look at something like melatonin. Not a great way to look at something like estrogen or progesterone, for the record. I much prefer, especially in women who are menstruating, something like a full menstrual cycle saliva panel or urine sample, like the Dutch test, dried urine test for cortisol and hormones, the Dutch test. I much prefer those if we're looking at those types of hormones, so it just depends. Really, all we can assume from a one point in time hormone test when it comes to hormones that are throughout a woman's cycle, like progesterone and estrogen and even testosterone to some effect, all we can assume from that is that we have information about one day in her cycle. It really is not enough. And with my fertility clients, I'm always like, no, just because your fertility doctor looked at day 21 and says, it looks like you're ovulating, fuck that. We don't know that. Like, we need to see more. We need to actually see, when did progesterone increase? What is luteinizing hormone doing? What is follicular stimulating hormone doing? What is estrogen doing? Okay, so it's detailed. But thank you for your question. I hope that helps. Feel free to let me know if it doesn't or you'd like me to clarify something. Also, I'm happy to take a peek at your blood work and give you a functional take on it. I don't often do this, but I'm happy to honor this. I would do a one-time visit for you and check out your blood work and give you my interpretation if that would be helpful for you. Just find me on the other app, the one that begins with an I, and send me a direct message, because I don't know who you are, but I would love to know you. And if that can help you, I'm happy to do it. Or we could work one-on-one and actually figure out your hormones. Okay, somebody 69, hysterectomy at 60. Can you take hormones? So first of all, I have to give the caveat. Again, I haven't done this recently. I am not a doctor. I cannot give you medical advice. I cannot diagnose, treat, or prescribe. Okay, we did that. I specialize in optimizing how the body functions. I do look at lab work. I do use supplements in a very strategic way, even sometimes bioidentical type hormone supplements. What I will say is that anybody who's gone through perimenopause, in perimenopause, gone through menopause, had a hysterectomy, whether it's partial or full, it is really important that you are following, I'm going to say it again, my 5-step process to heal hormones. So I will tell you what that is. I will tell you what it is. I can help you do it very easily through my hormone rebalancing course and give you all the hows and whys and whens, but you can do this yourself. So the first step is you need to reduce and remove toxic load. So you need to go through all of your products. You need to go through your environment. You need to remove things that are going to upregulate hormones, because even though you've had a hysterectomy, you are susceptible to things called xenoestrogens and endocrine disruptors, and the adrenal glands actually, to a very small extent, still produce some estrogen. So fun fact. So that's really important. The next step is going to be, you got to clean up your diet. And a lot of times women are told what a good diet is, and it's trash, garbage, bullshit. I spent so many years chasing down a good diet, aka a diet that was going to help me get leaner or lose weight or whatever else. I tried every extreme diet out there. Truly, I even did a carnivore experiment, y'all, because part of how I learn is like learning it in my body. I will never do that again, for the record. Not great for women, not great for thyroid health in the vast majority of people, not great long-term. Can be okay as a short-term intervention, depending what you have going on, though. But that's why you need to work with someone. Like you can't just do some of these extreme diets yourself. It's not usually a great idea. But anyways, so step 2 is you got to clean up your diet in the right way, and you got to improve your nutrient density, meaning eat more foods that have more nutrients and nutrition in them that more of your body is going to benefit from. That means you got to have enough protein. You got to have enough of those healthy fats. You got to have enough of those gluten-free, starchy carbohydrates in the right balance, and you've got to eat often enough, okay? The third part of that is you've got to optimize your detox pathways. We talked a little bit about that at the beginning, but your liver is really important anytime we're talking about hormone health stuff. And this is especially important if you're considering bioidentical hormones. You've got to make sure that liver is up and running and happy, because it is possible to overload on those, and it is possible to increase your cancer risk. And we do not want to do that, okay? 4, you've got to reduce your stress or learn to be more stress resilient. And that involves things like what's going on mentally and emotionally, exercising your brain, exercising your emotions, all of that, really important. And then 5 of that 5-step hormone healing process that I am teaching in my hormone healing course called the Balanced Hormone Blueprint, where you can grab a VIP info to get early bird pricing, bit.ly/help with hormones or the Bink and Mylio. So the fifth step is supplementation. So you see, that is last. That is very last. Many women do benefit from some hormone support in menopause or after hysterectomy, which forced you into menopause most likely. But at 60, I would bet you were in menopause. But for anybody who's younger and had a hysterectomy, the thing that puts you into menopause would be ovary removal, or you are at an age where you've already been through menopause. So in that case, really, really important. You almost never want to take a single hormone unchallenged if you are in menopause or kind of have gone through a hysterectomy. What I will say is some women do just fine with just a progesterone option, and you can do topical progesterone. That might be something you consider as opposed to oral progesterone. Depends on your body and what works for you, so you'll have to figure that out, or you could work with me or talk to your doctor or whatever you want to do. But I will say, if you are showing signs that you need some estrogen support, and really commonly that can be women who have like vaginal dryness and certain types of sleep issues. So if you're considering estrogen support, okay, but make sure progesterone's on board. Absolutely, 100%. Be very careful about overdoing testosterone. If you're going to work with a hormone doc, they're going to use hormone replacement therapy and they will probably juice you up on way too much stuff. So advocate for yourself on being very conservative and starting with a little bit of any of these things and monitoring how a little bit treats your body. Helps your body, not treats as in clinically treats, but how does your body agree with it? But in most cases, progesterone being on board is really critical. That's what I'll say. Okay. Yeah, thanks so much. So hi, everybody who's just joining. I'm Marissa Fay. I am a holistic hormone and gut health expert for women. I help women reduce and reverse their symptoms with natural methods. I use functional medicine, holistic nutrition, all kinds of other holistic strategies that are cool and wacky and weird, like hypnosis. And we are talking about gut health, hormone health, gallbladder health, gluten-free lifestyle. What else did we do? We talked a little bit about IBS. We're talking about all kinds of issues like that. Feel free to drop a comment below. It's also my first TikTok live. I'm having a blast, almost an hour here. I'll probably stay on another 15 or 20 minutes, y'all. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I also love your encouragement. Send me a heart, send me a flower, or other cool things you can send me virtually here. It really helps to encourage me and let me know that you're benefiting from this, because sometimes I'm like talking into the void. Okay, next question. What is the best way to get your home runs tested? Asked my doctor and they won't do. I think that's hormones tested. Yeah, so this person is saying their doctor won't test their hormones. So we had talked about this earlier, and in case you weren't on, I'm going to reiterate. Hot mess, this is you asking. I love that. I love that name. Okay. So if your doctor refuses to test your hormones, first of all, your doctor is probably not the best person to test your hormones, but it depends what hormone you want them to look at. If it's something like your thyroid and they will do a true full thyroid panel, yeah, absolutely. Go through insurance, go through your doctor, go for it. But when it comes to something like estrogen, progesterone, even to some extent testosterone, cortisol, cortisone, it's not very effective to look at blood. So the best way to get those hormones tested is me or someone like me. So I can do something like a saliva test or a urine test. We can look at hormones over the course of a menstrual cycle. If you're menstruating, we can look at hormones at a particular time and place, depending if you are postmenopausal or in menopause or in perimenopause. So this is one of those where if you really want to know your hormones in and out, I highly, highly recommend you invest in yourself and you work with me one-on-one. What is good for candida overgrowth? Okay, lovely question. So hi everybody, if you're joining, I'm Marissa Fay. I am a functional nutritionist. Technically, I am board certified in holistic nutrition. I am very proud of that. And we are talking about hormone and gut health and gallbladder health and all kinds of good stuff. I am taking your questions for the next 15, 20 minutes. Drop a comment below. Would love to answer it if I have the time to do so today. And feel free to give a heart, give a like, share this with a friend or a sister or an aunt, because more of us need this information, more women helping women. Yes, please. Okay, so we have a question. So what is good for candida overgrowth? All right, first, let's talk about candida. So does anybody know this? And give me a heart or a rose if you know this. Candida is actually part of your body's cleanup crew, which means candida is not inherently bad. And in fact, we all, and I'm seeing one heart, yay, so somebody knows that. We actually want candida in the body. We just don't want it overgrown. If candida is overgrown, we have to think about what created the opportunity for that to happen, or what provoked candida to do that. So there's some kind of other imbalance happening. Candida overgrowth does not happen alone. Never, never happens alone, y'all. So if you have candida overgrowth, and you would probably know because you have like symptoms associated with that, if you're somebody who in particular has a vagina, you probably are experiencing a lot of yeast infections. You also might have something like fungal overgrowth on a toe. You may have a lot of like itchiness, skin type stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. You can have a coating, a yellowish coating on your tongue. So there's all kinds of stuff. Also, it's something that can be tested. Tests aren't actually great for spotting candida because the threshold is kind of high. But there can be symptom mapping. And that's what I do with my clients. I have like a long questionnaire that they take. And I'm like, yeah, you fit the profile. But again, with candida, we want to ask, what is at the root? It's not the candida. The candida is trying to clean up. It's trying to clean up the mess. The mess it's trying to clean up is probably related to parasites, bacterial imbalance, mold exposure, other types of environmental toxin exposure. So you actually need to address that. One of the things I actually hate are candida diets. I hate them. They're super restrictive. Has anybody tried a candida diet? Give me a heart if you've tried it and you were miserable. I don't know anybody who's enjoyed it. I use a combination approach. So with somebody who is showing a lot of signs of candida overgrowth who wants to aggressively get after it, I'll do something like a stool test. I'll look to see what kinds of bacterial imbalances are going on and what signs we have of parasites being present. We'll address that with a rigorous supplement protocol and adjusting habits and lifestyle. And then we will make some dietary modifications, but not nearly as extreme as a candida diet or even like an autoimmune paleo type diet. No, those aren't sustainable, y'all. Like no one can stay on that and nobody ever knows when to stop them. And you can't live your life that way. And it's also not going to solve the problem because the candida is not the root cause. Again, important questions to ask when you have any health issue. What is the root cause? The candida is not the root cause. So let me know if that's helpful. A link to my website, please. I would love to give you a link to my website, but first, can I actually tell you that my website is old? It is old. It needs to be updated. It is just way on the back burner because there's so many other exciting things that I'm working on and helping y'all with. So please do not judge my old school website and my blondish hair. But that is my website. You are welcome to check it out. There are links there to set up a discovery call if you'd like to do that. I also will put, because we've been talking so much about these things and I don't know if they will block this, but I'm going to put the VIP list for the hormone course link. I added a space in there so that, maybe TikTok doesn't catch me and lets me keep it there. Okay, so those are a couple of things. And then the gallbladder class. So for anybody who's got gallbladder concerns or gallbladder stuff going on, this is honestly the best container I have to get started in helping you. And you're going to get everything in one place. Okay, I'm going to answer a few more questions. Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so, I see period questions coming in. My favorite. Okay. All right. Such great questions, y'all. I love these. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to do my best to get through all of these. We'll see. Can you take black seed oil without the gallbladder? Maybe. I don't know. You have to see how that agrees with your body, but I would ask you, why are you taking it? What do you think it's going to solve? That's a really important question, okay? I'm seeing left side is hurting too, and you've had your gallbladder removed, I'm assuming, when you say had mine removed. Yeah. So why is that pain there? And what is it really referring to? So left side is going to be more stomach, maybe pancreas. Your gallbladder's on your right side, your liver's on your right side. And it could just be also like there could be an imbalance in your gut that's just reverberating pain there. There could be something stuck in your lymph over there. So working on your lymphatic system can be very helpful. That's part of with the detox optimization. So with the sweat, we're working on the lymphatic system. I'm thinking of pulling in more lymph work, by the way. I'm always updating everything I do, but the hormone course that will be open for early bird registration this week and then officially unrolling the modules in October, I think in the new year, I'm going to add a whole section on lymph and lymphatic system because it's so important. Somebody, I would never, ever remove my gallbladder or liver. Gosh, I hope you would never remove your liver. Your liver is so damn critical. And yes, they can do things with that, but I would not recommend it unless you really need to. There's a lot you can do before you go to remove organs, even things like your tonsils and possibly your appendix. You just have to be aware of your symptoms and get to helping yourself by learning from someone like me or working with someone like me or me. Okay. Have no gallbladder, but pain on the right side just below the ribs with a knot. That sounds like some liver stuff. So again, y'all, if you had your gallbladder removed, what is the root cause? Okay. What is causing it? What caused the issue that you had your gallbladder removed? Okay. So please, please, please start asking that question. Just like, what is the cause? What caused that? Just get curious, and if I can help you, I would love to do so. Okay. I think it's Mrs. Carr, looking for a functional medicine doc and would love to consult with you. I would love to consult with you too. I think you were the one who talked about some blood work done. So so feel free to send me a message over on the social media platform that begins with an I. It's linked through my profile here. And I'm happy to take a look at that blood work. But anybody else, you can work with me one-on-one. I can order blood work. By the way, I do not upcharge my labs. A lot of people do in this industry. I do not. I pass on my practitioner price. It's maybe not the best business move. Every business coach I've had has said, no, you need to do that. I won't fucking do it because we deserve to have that information and not be cost prohibitive. And by the way, blood work is, for the most part, damn affordable if you go through me. So if you have a high deductible insurance plan or your doctor won't run things like a full thyroid panel, let's chat. I can help you. Okay. Tried making an appointment, but I have no appointments available. Oh, do I have no discovery calls open? So if you want to make a discovery call and I don't have slots open, I am so sorry. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my email address. Send me an email. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to open up more slots. That's what I'm going to do. So feel free to, where the heck is that button? There it is. So feel free to send me an email if you want to set up a discovery call. I'm guessing people beat you to it. I had time on my calendar when I got on here. But okay. So I just popped that in there. You can always, always, always shoot me an email and I can get you hooked up with the right thing that you need or want. I do work with folks all over the USA and Canada. So I work with folks virtually. So I can support you if you're in any of those places. And even in Europe in some places, by the way, if you have any friends or family over there. I've had that happen. So if you're trying to make an appointment, if you'd like to book a discovery call or book, I do a single Q&A session if that's what you want, if you don't want to work ongoing, but I really do recommend more ongoing work. That's where I see the most improvement, but we can always chat. So feel free to send me an email because it sounds like my calendar is fully booked, but I can open up a couple more slots for you all. I'm seeing what could that be? The knot on the right side. I think I answered that. Okay. No period in 5 months and you turn 49 in April. Okay. So perimenopause, by the way, I did a whole 2 episodes on this on my podcast called Into the Yes. You can grab that on Apple Podcast or Spotify, anywhere you like to listen. Go a few episodes back. We did a 2-parter on perimenopause. So perimenopause is typically about a 10-year phase as you transition from your menstruating years to your non-menstruating years. Technically, the definition of being in or through menopause is that you haven't had a period for 1 whole year. So if you are in your late 40s and you haven't had a period for 5 months, you're in that zone. You're definitely in perimenopause zone. Not diagnosing, just saying that tracks. And honestly, everyone, you want to have your period as long as possible. If you're a woman who can menstruate, you want your period as long as possible because the hormones associated with your period and ovulation, they are so fantastic for bone health, skin health, hormone health. So we want to maintain that as long as possible. But I would say pretty realistic that kind of getting to 50, you're definitely going to be transitioning, probably most people. So that doesn't ring any alarm bells. But if you have any specific questions related to not having your period for 5 months and being 49, let me know. Any guidance on temperature regulation for thyroid babes? Yes, Zoe, I always have guides on temperature regulation. Okay, so first of all, I'm doing a whole part of temperature regulation and tracking your temperature and what it all means in my hormone course that the early bird seats are opening up this week for. You can grab a spot on the VIP list to get that early bird pricing, which includes an optional upgrade for a full thyroid panel, like truly full thyroid panel, and a one-on-one visit with me to interpret and go through that. You can grab that seat at bit.ly/help with hormones or check the link in my bio. So that is one thing. We're going to have a whole part about temperature tracking and what temperature stuff means there. So temperature regulation, I'm assuming you're actually talking about being cold, but let me know if I got that right. So it's really common when folks have low thyroid function that they have poor circulation. That's actually what it is, by the way. The being cold is poor circulation. And oftentimes associated with that is cold hands, feet, nose, ears. I was hiking yesterday, and I have reversed most of my hypothyroid symptoms, but occasionally they creep in. And I was hiking yesterday in like 50 degrees in the mountains, and my ears got just so cold. And I know I'm a little bit more susceptible to that because of thyroid stuff. So the first thing, and this may seem obvious, but I'm telling you, people miss this. So to keep your core temperature warmer, wear socks. Wear thick socks all the time. So never, never, never be walking around barefoot. So either you've got a shoe on with a sock or you've got just socks on. That is really important, number one. Number two, do something that heats your body up every day. That can be exercise. It doesn't have to be. I really love like a hot magnesium bath. Just make sure you use a bath filter. You can get those on Amazon, frankly. Something is better than nothing in this case. A Brita is not good enough for drinking water though, but you can just pop them on your faucet. So that's lovely. If you had access to something like an infrared sauna and that is okay for your body, that could also be really great, but it might seem weird, but yeah, just make sure you're wearing socks. Some people need to wear a hat to start warming up your body. But the next thing with the low temperature is you've got to be nourishing your body. And you've got to be nourishing often enough. So I talk a lot about this, eating breakfast within 1 hour of waking and then eating a well-balanced meal or snack every 3 to 4 hours while we're working on healing your metabolism. You know, over time, you'll be able to go a little bit longer between meals, but while we're really rebalancing things and while your body temperature is struggling, you got to do that. Okay, period question. And hi, everybody. I'm Marissa Fay. I am a hormone and gut health specialist. I am so excited that you are here. I am answering questions about hormone health and gut health and gallbladder health. We are deep into the hormone part of this evening. So we're talking about periods and thyroid health. Feel free to drop a question below. I know I said I was going to leave, but apparently I'm staying because I love you all and I want to answer your questions. I would love to support you. It seems like my discovery calls are all booked up, but I will open up slots for you. Just send me an email at info@marissafay.com. I tried to pin that and it did not let me, but I'm going to try it again. Okay, no, it's not letting me. It doesn't like pinning email addresses. Maybe it didn't even let it go through. So info@marissafay, MARISAFAYE.com, or you can go to my TikTok profile and bounce over to that other social media platform that begins with an I and send me a DM there, and we can get you a discovery call on the books. Okay, let me see. Some people don't have an Instagram. Yeah, send me an email then. That works. Or hit one of the links in my bio. Gallbladder removed, looking for help. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. So if you've had your gallbladder removed, the first step is scroll through all the free shit that I have here. I have, I think 50, maybe more videos about gallbladder health. And also at the link in my bio, I have a gallbladder class that is on demand that comes with a guide that you can print off and save. It talks about dietary changes. It talks about supplements that often work. It talks about lifestyle changes. It's a conglomeration of tips and tricks that have worked really well with clients I've had who have had gallbladder removal or need gallbladder support because they have things like gallstones or sludgy bile. So I would recommend you start there. I am located in Denver, Colorado, but I work virtually with women all over the United States of all ages and stages of life, and in Canada, and even some in Europe as well. But easiest for me to work in the United States and Canada. So I use the magic of virtual. So in my one-on-ones, I use Zoom. So we meet via video, and we also use technology a lot. Like you have access to a private chat with me where you can ask questions anytime you want. I do try to take weekends off, but I monitor it for anything urgent. But yeah, that's kind of how I roll. Okay, answering questions about hormone health, gut health, gallbladder health. I'm Marissa Fay. I am a hormone and gut health expert. This is my first time doing a TikTok live. We are having a blast. I am loving your questions. Please continue to leave a comment or send me a heart or a flower. It's really helpful and encouraging to know that I'm helping you. So I love to hear that. Okay, next question. My bowel movements have not been right since I had COVID, and you had your gallbladder removed 2 years before that. Yeah, so we talked a little bit earlier, so I'll just give a little recap. COVID fucks with your gut, y'all. It does. 100%. we in the functional medicine community have known that since the beginning. The first symptom that the vast majority of my clients who got COVID had was running to the toilet. It was. So we have known that for a long time. So some people tend more towards looseness and then things get constipated. Some people have constipation and it comes out the other end. There are all kinds of issues that can happen here, but that sounds like your body needs some support and there's probably a bacterial imbalance. So I work with clients and I create custom protocols for them to address bacterial imbalances. So that might be something that serves you, but that would be the thing I'd be looking for and looking into. Can too much sugar cause candida? I mean, a shitty diet can cause a lot of things. So I don't know what your diet is. Part of what I do at intake for any private clients is I actually review a food and mood journal. It's much more than just what you eat, y'all. It's like, what are the digestive reactions? Literally, how do you feel when you eat it? Are you drinking with it? All that stuff. So, I would have to see what your typical diet is. I can tell you, if you have a candida overgrowth and symptoms of candida overgrowth, the one dietary change that I often do make that is in line with something like a candida diet. Again, I don't love a candida diet. I take a different dietary approach and use supplements for heavy lifting and lifestyle for heavy lifting when there's candida stuff going on. And candida is not a root cause. It's part of the cleanup crew. So if it's overgrowing, we have to think about what's it trying to protect you from. But yeah, we do limit sugar in that case. And in general, y'all, trashy sugars, get it out of there. Corn syrup, even brown rice syrup, glucose syrup, all of that is trash. Sugar is not the enemy. Make sure you have it with protein and or fat, a healthy fat. We talked about fats coming from fruits and animals are healthiest for most of us. And, go for things that are natural and not so refined. You know what I mean? So that's going to be things like honey, especially local and unrefined honey. Love that. Maple syrup. I love coconut sugar. It actually has some prebiotic activities to it. So I love that. So some of those things, that can be fine. Yeah, somebody said remove liver equals death. Well, you'd have a transplant. So you'd get either part of a living donor's liver because the liver can actually regenerate. Super cool. Or you get a dead person's liver. Yeah. Okay. Do I prefer in-person appointments for clients? No, I prefer virtual. I actually used to have in-person visits. I had an in-person office, and then amazingly, when COVID hit, my lease was up and I was like already half seeing people virtually because I've just always had connections to people in other places than Denver, Colorado. So I've always had a virtual side to my business and practice, and now I'm just fully virtual and I love it. So if anybody can navigate the virtual world, it is me. I worked in virtual learning for many years before I opened up my private practice. So yeah. So I work with women virtually all over the United States and Canada and sometimes in Europe, helping them with hormone health, gut health, looking at labs from a functional lens, helping them heal their hormones and their gut, doing things like stool tests and custom protocols. And it's a blast. And I help people reverse symptoms and heal and actually feel better, which is fucking amazing. Okay, more questions we have here. We're talking about hormone health. We're talking about gut health. We're talking about gallbladder health. Feel free to drop a question below. I'm never leaving TikTok because I love doing this live and answering your questions. Okay, so much processed food and overprocessed soil, so even our veggies have little nutrients. Yeah, so we just don't have a lot of nutrients in our soil anymore, to the point of, I think it's Lynn's comment, and it can feel hard to find nutrient-dense foods that we can absorb. It's actually not, but it's not going to be foods that a lot of us women naturally gravitate towards. So some of the most nutrient-dense foods, like if you look up nutrient density, they are going to be, first of all, animal products. Yep. And I'm saying that as somebody who was vegetarian, veering on vegan for 6 years and just fucked up my gut and hormone health with that. It's a recipe if you're a woman to fuck up your gut and hormone health. It really is. I really believe in variety and see a great benefit to variety when it comes to women's health and hormone health and gut health. But the most nutrient dense foods are going to be things like grass-fed beef liver, oysters, grass-fed red meats, well-sourced seafood and shellfish. Those are going to be more nutrient dense than any vegetable or fruit. It's true. I sometimes also use those, by the way, in supplement form with many of my clients. I will use desiccated grass-fed liver, dried oyster, which can be harder and harder to find, but it's a really fantastic way to get zinc support because it also gives you copper. And I have seen a lot of women with COVID dysregulate their copper by overdoing it on zinc and taking zinc every day. Most people, you absolutely don't want to do that. That is a bad idea. Okay. extreme sweating for 7 years after, I don't know what MVC is. No diagnosis, thyroid test is good, partial hysterectomy. So anytime somebody's having extreme sweating, I want to know if there's an estrogen dominance issue, especially with a partial hysterectomy if you still have your ovaries. So everyone, just so you know, you can have estrogen dominance if you have normal levels of progesterone and just high levels of estrogen, which is often going to be triggered by exposure to endogenous or exogenous estrogen, which is going to be xenoestrogens and endocrine disruptors, a lot of products in our home and in our makeup and our skincare. I'm teaching all of that in my upcoming hormone course. You can grab a VIP spot to get access to the early bird pricing at bit.ly/help with hormones. But that's going to be really, really important. Anytime there's a sweating issue going on, you got to look there first. Things that will help with IBS. Okay, so maybe you weren't here at the beginning. IBS is vast majority of time caused by bacterial overgrowth or triggered by something like a food poisoning event. So gut healing, gut rebalancing. I recommend you work with me or someone like me, run a stool test, get on the right dietary approach and the right supplement protocol to rebalance your gut. You can feel better, 100%. I've helped many, many women not run to the bathroom all the fucking time and go back to their GI doc who diagnosed them. And they're like, what did you do? And they're like, oh, I just changed how I ate. I worked with a functional nutritionist. I took the right supplements and now I feel great. And their doctor usually is like, what? So I love that. It's amazing. Okay, I'm Marissa Fay. I'm answering questions about gut and hormone health. I specialize in women's gut and hormone health. We're talking about gallbladder, hormone stuff, period stuff, thyroid stuff, all kinds of good stuff. It is my first TikTok live. I think I'm doing pretty well, you all. So let me know. But I love your encouragement, hearts, flowers, comments. Let me know if this is landing. Okay. Somebody asked, why did my cholesterol get higher with perimenopause? Okay, that's really common. Okay, I did a post today about this, but high cholesterol in many women is a sign of liver stress. Your liver is part of multiple systems in your body, but let's just talk about it being part of your endocrine or hormone system and your gut or GI system. It's in both systems. It's a really, really important organ. One of the ways the liver is going to show it's complaining is increased cholesterol. Also, cholesterol is a precursor to all of your hormones. I said what I said. Cholesterol is really important. And in fact, low cholesterol is just as bad. It's actually maybe worse than high cholesterol. So first of all, I would want to know what your cholesterol is because from a functional medicine lens, I am interested often in a higher total cholesterol. And I'm often interested in looking at triglycerides and HDL and LDL. So I do a functional medicine interpretation of lab work, and I'm happy to do that for anybody who wants to work with me. You can send me an email because all my discovery calls are booked right now. I will open up a slot for you. Send it to info@marissafay.com or go over to my profile, hit the link to go over to the other social media platform that begins with an I and send me a direct message and I will get you hooked up with the right thing. Think I'm living off of cortisol. Ugh, I'm so sorry. So let's talk about cortisol for a second. So cortisol is one of our stress hormones. It's released by our adrenal glands. It's incredibly protective and important. It's the thing that's going to tell you to run from a bear. The problem is in our modern life, we think we are running from bears all the time, right? Like our boss is mad at us. Our kid, if you have a kid, does something wrong, you're late, and it's a bear. That is what your nervous system is registering it at. The problem with having so much cortisol in your system is that it reduces your insulin sensitivity. Insulin is the key that unlocks your cells so that glucose, which is energy, can get into your cells. Your body does not like being deprived of energy. That is not fun and cool. When somebody has a lot of high cholesterol, which I talk about this I just did a masterclass all about hormone balance that I'm going to share with anybody who's on the VIP list for my upcoming hormone course. You can grab a spot at bit.ly/help with hormones. I'm going to be sharing that there, but I talk a bit about elevated cortisol and what's going on there. Yeah, no fun. You definitely got to work on that. That can be a big reason women have weight loss intolerance. It's often related to low progesterone. It's often related to insulin resistance. So there's a lot that goes on there that can run haywire. Yeah. All right. I actually think, did I get to all your questions? Oh, no. Okay, it just loaded more. All right. Thanks. Doing amazing. I love it. Thank you all. Thank you so much. Okay. Let me see. I'll answer a few more. Thank you for all the info, giving us a better route on health. You're so welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm just happy for you all that you're curious about this stuff and you're open to learning about this. A lot of people aren't, and it makes me really sad because they are, they're not going to be able to live with good health probably. You've got to take an active role in your health. So I'm super glad you're here. And just a refresher, if you're here for gallbladder stuff, I have a class for you and a guide that you can download at bit.ly/gallbladder class. That's the best place to start. If you're here for hormone health, I have a hormone class opening up with my 5-step method that I actually talked about earlier, the what of. And I'll be sharing a masterclass that I recently did all about figuring out what type of hormone imbalance you might have with some of the common ones. But you can grab a VIP seat, which is going to give you access to early bird rates that are going to come out this week at bit.ly/help with hormones. And then finally, if you've got complex shit going on or you want to run lab work and dive in deep, you can work with me one-on-one. I work virtually with women all over the United States, Canada, and some countries in Europe. Send me an email at info@marissafay.com. So MARISAFAYE. All right. Having gallbladder issues. Yeah. Check out that gallbladder class. That is going to be awesome for you. Oh my gosh. I need that about, I think, cholesterol and liver issues. Yeah. Yeah. So the way I look at cholesterol is just, it's a sign, you all. It's a signal from your body. It is talking about stressors. It is talking about burden on your liver. Statins, by the way, they were discovered in Japan, and Japan sold them to America because they realized they killed people and were dangerous. And in America, they keep changing the threshold of what high cholesterol is so that doctors can prescribe statins. Many, many people don't need statins. And we actually do want to see cholesterol increase as we age. It's protective. And cholesterol is a precursor to all of your steroid hormones and sex hormones. So we need cholesterol. The vast majority of your cholesterol is made by your body. Yeah, say no to statins. I agree. Statins should be a very last resort. And if we look at the literature, there's a very small group of people who benefit, and they're primarily males who are older who have very, very high cholesterol. There are not a lot of people who statistically benefit from statins. Yeah. Okay. I think I now have answered all your questions. Any last questions before I sign off today and, take a shower after playing in the mountains all weekend? I've had a blast with you all. Please go ahead, send me an email if you want to set up a discovery call, because I know all those slots were taken. Again, that's info, INFO, at marissafay, MARISAFAYE.com. You can see how to spell my name in my username. You can also send me a direct message over on that other platform that begins with an I, and I can get you hooked up with whatever sounds good to you. I would highly recommend, if you're someone dealing with hormone stuff, the course that I'm coming out with is fantastic. I have used this 5-step method to help over 100 women heal their hormones. It is profound. It is what I have used myself to reverse many of my thyroid and hormone imbalance symptoms. You can grab a VIP seat at bit.ly/help with hormones, help, HELP with hormones, plural. And I'm going to be sharing a masterclass I just did with anybody on that list, and you'll get access to early bird pricing, which actually includes an upgrade to include a full thyroid blood panel or an inflammation blood panel, also really important for hormone health, and a follow-up visit with me to go over those results and talk about what you might want to do with that, which is fantastic. Normally, I don't offer one-off visits. Normally, I require people to work with me as a private client for at least 3 months, because that's how long change happens. But I'm offering this to anybody taking the course, because I'm also going to be doing weekly Q&As as a part of the course. And it's going to be pretty interactive, and you'll have access to me. So I know that you'll be supported if you're going through that process and making changes that you need to be making. So, when will my next live be? That is such an awesome question. I don't know, y'all. What do you think about, should I do an every Sunday afternoon? Or is there another day that works for you all? Does during the day ever work for you all? Because gosh, I would love to do this during the work day, but I know that can be tricky for some people. I'm seeing hearts. Okay. Well, you know what I will do? Thank you for the hearts and encouragement. Thank you all for being here. I will put out a video on here in the next day about when the next one will be. How about that? And how about this? I will also take questions on that video. So if you can't make it live, you could drop a question there. And I will bring those questions to the next live and answer them in case you can't make it. I'm seeing Sundays work for people. Okay, awesome. Cool. Well, if you're just dropping in and joining us, we are wrapping up. I'm Marissa Fay. I'm a hormone and gut health expert. I help women reverse their symptoms, reduce their symptoms, and actually feel better with natural methods. We just did an hour and a half. Anybody who's stuck with me the whole hour and a half, throw me a heart or a comment, because I just want to give you a virtual high five and send you good energy. This has been my first TikTok live. It's been a blast. I have answered many a question, giving my very honest, no bullshit take. I promise I will always do that, y'all. I will also always tell you when I don't know something. That is really important. But feel free to watch this live. I will repost it. Oh, yay. Thank you. Stayed did amazing. Thank you. I've had so much fun. I'm going to do this again by request. I'll post a video this week about when that will be and open up questions. I'll give you a last reminder on where you can find me. If you'd like to book a discovery call, I hear they're all booked right now, but I will open up special slots just for you if you've attended today, because I really want to support you. You can send me an email if you'd like a discovery call at info@marissafay.com. You can see how to spell my name in my username. You can grab a spot on the VIP list for my upcoming hormone course that's going to teach my 5-step method that has helped over 100 women reverse their symptoms and actually feel better, related to hormone health, even related to gut health. It's a great place to start. You can do that at bit.ly/help with hormones, plural. I'm going to be offering that early bird rate this week. So you'd want to get on that. I'm also offering an upgrade there that includes a functional medicine interpretation and a running of, this is including the cost of the full thyroid panel or an inflammation blood panel. So I'll send you to a LabCorp to do that, just so you know. And a visit with me. So it's an awesome way to get one visit with me and get my take on stuff. As a part of that course, I'm going to be doing weekly Q&As exclusive for that community, where I actually am going to be doing group coaching, which means people can sign up for a hot seat. So you could sign up to, have your personal questions and your personal health kind of dug into, as long as you're not shy about that. So that's going to be really amazing. And we can all learn from each other, which I think is awesome. You are so welcome. And then finally, if you were here for gallbladder stuff, I have a paid but inexpensive 90-minute gallbladder masterclass and guide that goes over my top tips related to dietary shifts, related to lifestyle shifts, and related to supplements, including a 2 or 3 page supplement guide. It's like teeny font of supplements that often work for folks that have gallbladder issues or have had their gallbladder removed. And you can grab that at bit.ly/gallbladder class. All of these things you can find at the link in my bio. And thank you so much for being here. All right, y'all, have a great evening.